Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Ashie Bang. This is Ashie's Bang. This is Ashie's room. And yeah, welcome. Welcome. If this is your first time here, welcome. If this is not your first time here, like I said, welcome back. Oh, I'm gonna have to work on that later. Anyways, for this video, I'm going to, as you've read in the title, I'm going to be giving you 3 tips on how you can improve your English speaking skills. So just a little disclaimer though, I'm not an expert on anything like speech and the English language or anything. It's just that a lot of people have already complimented me on how I speak in English, and I don't know, it's not something that I'm actually putting a lot of effort in. Does it sound too arrogant? No, really, I'm not a native English speaker. And yeah, by the way, this video is for the non-native English speakers. Before I forgot, let's just put it out there. I'm an Asian, I'm Filipino, I'm Cebuana, waray, and I've already received a lot of compliments before that whenever I speak in English, they don't detect any Asian accent at all. I don't really know how to feel about that, but this is just for those people who would like to improve how they talk to other people, since English is not really an easy language to speak, especially if it's not your mother tongue, right? Also, this is just from my own experience, and I would really love to share it with you so that, I don't know, you can also use it in your daily life, I guess. So yeah, 3 tips, because I only go by these 3 things. Although the process has been long for me, I've always been, just a little backstory, ever since I was young, I've always been inclined to speak the English language. I've always been interested from I was probably 3 when I was first able to say a full English sentence with a proper grammar, and I was very proud because my mama and papa complimented me. And from then on, I told myself that I'm gonna go ahead and learn that language and speak it for the rest of my life. So, I'm not saying that it's the only language that I speak. In our house, we're pretty multilingual. English, Cebuano, Tagalog, waray, now Korean. So yeah, I'm just glad that we still are able to understand each other, me, my sisters, my parents. Oh, another thing is, you can also be watching this video not for your own sake, but maybe for your children's sake. Because you may think that it's already too late for you to improve on your English speaking skills, although I would like to disagree on that. You can always practice and you can always learn, okay? But if you have children around you in your household, you can also teach them these 3 tips. You can maybe slowly, inculcate these 3 tips in their daily lives. I don't know. Like I said, I started learning how to speak English when I was very, very young. That's why right now I'm able to speak the English language confidently. English is all about confidence. That's the number 1 rule. That's the number 1 tip. But that's not necessarily part of the 3 tips that I'm going to give you. So let's get on with it. Number 1, find your own Merriam-Webster's best friend. I'm saying best friend because I already consider Merriam-Webster's dictionary as my very own best friend. She tells me everything that I want to know. Not just the definition of a word that I'm trying to look up, but also the pronunciation of that word. So maybe when I was in high school and elementary, I would refer to the physical books, the physical dictionaries. But now, since it's 2021 and we're already into the digital world of gumball, into the world of smartphones and touch screens and apps, get your own Merriam-Webster's app on your phone right now. Okay, it should be like a default app in everybody's phone. I'll be very disappointed in your phone if you don't have it in it. Even English speaking people, even people who are born in America or anywhere in the world that has English for their mother tongue, don't even know all the words, all the English words out there. So they still have to look up the words in dictionary. Same applies for every language out there. So if you are a non-English speaking person who would like to speak English well, always have your Merriam-Webster's dictionary app in your phone. It can be in your tablet or anything. Why? And how is it going to help you with your English speaking? Well, it helped me a lot because there are words that I'm not sure how to pronounce, and every time that happens to me, every time I encounter an unfamiliar word, for example, I'm reading something, or I'm watching a movie, or I'm listening to someone talk, it could be on TV or, just face-to-face conversation, and I encounter an unfamiliar word, I would always look it up in the dictionary, in my Merriam app. I would always look it up, and I would obsess over it until the meaning of that word sinks in to my head. I'm that obsessive. If you're not that kind of person, you don't have to obsess over it. Just look it up in the dictionary, scan through the meaning, and it will make you say like, oh, this is what it means. And if you don't know how to pronounce it, there's always that function in the app, that audio thingy. If you press that, it will pronounce the word for you.
Inculcate. 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 Inculcate.
It will tell you how it is pronounced. But you will need Wi-Fi connection for that, or mobile data. But of course, I'm pretty sure you'll always have internet wherever you are. If you have a smartphone, you always have internet. Yeah, so that's how it's used. So that's my number one tip. Always have that Merriam app with you wherever you go, because you always have your phone wherever you go. That means you always have your Merriam wherever you go. Moving on to number 2. My tip number 2 for you is always turn on subtitles whenever you're watching an English movie. I always do. I always make it a point that the movie I'm watching has subtitles in it. Nowadays, Netflix is really popular, and it's a really, really good thing that there's subtitles in it. Even if it's an English movie, even if it's an American or Western movie, always just turn on the subtitles. Why? Because, well, obviously, it will help you understand the dialogue better, and the dialogue, how do you say that? Yeah, now I'm having doubts as to how to pronounce dialogue. Now I have to look it up on Merriam, but later. You can look it up right now and tell me how to pronounce it. Dialogue. Something.
Dialogue.
But yeah, it will help you understand the context of the conversation of the characters in the movie better. You can read it at the same time, listen to it, how it's pronounced, how they say it, and if you don't know the meaning, go to Merriam-Webster's and check out the definition. That's how it works for me. So when I'm watching an English movie that does not have subtitles, for example, I'm watching it on HBO on TV and HBO doesn't have subtitles for it, I always struggle to understand like the full movie, because I know that there are puns or references or like inside jokes or like punchlines in the movies that are lost on me, that I fail to understand and I fail to laugh, and it makes me sad because I felt like it was supposed to be funny what this character said to the other character, but I didn't understand it because I missed a few words in that sentence that he said or she said. So it makes me relieved when the same movie is played again in another channel, for example the Fox channel, because they always have subtitles. That's why I always tune into Fox movies just for the subtitles of the movie. So when they play the same movie, and that's when I understand, whenever I read the subtitles, what they were saying, and I would realize, what? It was supposed to be a joke and I didn't laugh the first time that I heard it. so it makes me feel disappointed. But yeah, I'm just trying to explain to you here how subtitles really help, and whenever you try to adapt that word into your speech, it won't be so hard for you anymore to say it or pronounce it because you already heard how the actor pronounced it. And yeah, we should always trust the pronunciations of Native American speakers because it's their language, it's their words. And so, since we're just borrowing the language, I think that we should pronounce it the way they pronounce it so that there's no misunderstanding. So that's my tip number 2 for you. Always turn on subtitles when you're watching movies, even if they're in English. Or maybe I should rephrase that. Watch English movies with the subtitles all the time. I guess you get my point, right? I hope so. I hope so. Oh shoot! My ring fell off. Yeah, let's put it here. Let's move on to our third tip for this video. My third tip for you is to watch a lot of Disney movies. Did you finally realize the trend of my 3 tips? My second tip is about movies, but I was talking here about subtitles. And my third tip is to specifically watch Disney movies. Why Disney movies? Because based on my experience, I'm really into Disney movies because Disney movies, do I need to explain? But yeah, the reason why I'm recommending this is because I've noticed that whenever a Disney movie comes on, I would watch it from start to finish and would realize that I didn't even need the subtitles to understand all the words. All the words. All the dialogue, all of the punchlines, everything made sense to me. I laughed at the right places, I cried at the right places. Yes, because Disney, I think, that's one of the signatures of Disney movies. Their speech is very clear and you can understand it with no trouble at all. Disney. I really like that about it. Other movies for like action movies, drama, Western series, there are times that I would have trouble, like I already mentioned earlier, right? But Disney movies, yes. You don't really need to turn on the subtitles, but if you're still at that level where you're trying to learn to adapt their speech, then maybe you should. But you will realize once you rewatch that movie with the subtitles off this time, if it's a Disney, you won't have any trouble listening to the words at all, and their pronunciations just whoa. Although probably not all Disney movies are like that. Pirates of the Caribbean, is it a Disney movie? Yeah, maybe. Is it? Can you check for me? Anyways, I've been mentioning a lot about English movies, but when I say English, I meant American, because English movies can also be referring to British movies, like, right? Oh my gosh. I've always dreamed of adapting their accent, British accent, but most of the time it's difficult for me to understand what they're talking about without the subtitles on. It's only lucky that I've rewatched Harry Potter 100,000 times. That's why I can watch it in peace without the subtitles and would understand everything, because I probably already memorized all their dialogues. But yeah, if it's your first time watching a British movie, you really have a hard time. But since we're not necessarily trying to copy their accent, let's limit the meaning of the phrase English movies to just the non-British accent ones. Okay, so yeah, those are my 3 tips for you. Let me reiterate that because I think I've already forgot everything that I was talking about. Number 1, always have your Merriam-Webster's app with you for references. Not just for the definition of the word, a word that's unfamiliar to you, but also the pronunciation. Number 2, whenever you're watching English movies, always turn on subtitles. And number 3, watch a lot of Disney movies. Yes. You will find after probably the 10th movie, if you're like into marathon, you will realize that the way you speak will improve. Yeah, maybe it will be gone the following day or 2 days later if you don't practice it. But if you keep on watching a lot of Disney movies, take for example Lea Salonga, right? I love the way she speaks. It's also clear. She was in theater before, and theaters, they always have to have clear speech. It's a must. Also, my inspirations in speaking clearly with a clear speech, like without garbling the words, because I also tend to do that when I'm speaking too fast. But yes, here are my inspirations, and you can watch their interviews, their vlogs if they have, their movies. These people, because I'm really amazed at how articulate they sound, how eloquent they are whenever they speak. Dove Cameron, yeah, that's Mel from Descendants. I love the way she speaks. It's so clear. Even in her interviews, it's so clear. Taylor Swift, yes, she speaks so clearly, and every time I'm watching her interviews, I notice that after that, I tend to adapt the way she speaks. It's weird, but at the same time, it's a nice influence to the way I speak. Also, I already mentioned Lea Salonga. I guess that's just the three of them. Yeah. Every time I hear them talk, they always inspire me to improve my speech, the way I talk, and the way I express myself. So I guess that's about it. I hope that the tips that I gave were pretty helpful, even just a little bit, because I'm quite aware, that there are people out there who have their own way of learning things. But yeah, like I said, this is just from my experience, and I found it really, really effective. So I just wanted to share it with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Annyeong. Bye. This has been Ashie Bang. Video. Bye.